It's alright.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yo guys, what is up? Max here on Borderlands 3 video, and today we have the Bloody Harvest update. Bloody Harvest is back. Not only that, but we have some tremendously large buffs to a ton of weapons, to the Terror Anoints and the weapons in Bloody Harvest, and some much needed changes to Zane's class mods and a ton of buffs to Zane's skills. We have so much to talk about. If you guys want to check out any of the Bloody Harvest gameplay, I'm going to be streaming it at twitch.tv/Moxie. If you want to come over and say hi, we've got a lot to talk about today. Let's get right into it, guys. Alright guys, so to start us off, Bloody Harvest is returning. That is right, I'm so excited for this. Bloody Harvest will go live today at noon Eastern Standard Time and will be live from October 8th to November 5th. Now this is not 6 weeks, but it is still a decent amount of time to have this event active. Now, if you guys do not know what Bloody Harvest is, it is Borderlands 3's Halloween themed event, and during this event, your goal is going to be to hunt down terror ghosts and kill enough to be able to be transported to Heck. Heck is a playable area only available during this event where you will farm spooky enemies and fight your way all the way to a boss where you can farm for the terror weapons and the newly buffed terror anoints. Now, both the weapons in this event and the anoints got changed. We'll be talking about those in a second, but Bloody Harvest is back. Now, the weapons in Bloody Harvest were buffed, starting off with the Fearmonger. The Fearmonger, the terror shotgun, got increased number of bullets shot per terror level and also increased weapon damage. So excited. I love this weapon. The Stalker, the sniper rifle, also received weapon damage. And finally, the gas call, the best grenade arguably in Borderlands 3, is getting increased damage, which is amazing because this thing was already performing even as an underleveled grenade. The gas call is definitely what I'm going to be farming for first, and you're going to want to try to get a Vindicator gas call if things remain the same. Now, the Terror Anoints also saw a lot of love. To start us off, the Terror Anoint, while terrified, gain increased damage and fire rate. The more terror you have, the higher the bonus, is getting increased damage bonus on that. The Terrified Anoint, deal 50% bonus cryo damage, is also receiving a buff. It is getting its cryo damage bonus to 75%, which is nice. Not 100%, which is what I was hoping for, but 75% while Terror is active is still going to be really nice. The while terrified enemy bullets have a chance to reflect off of you. The more terror you have, the higher the bonus, is getting increased reflect chance. The on action skill end, apply terror to yourself every 5 seconds for the next 18 seconds, which wasn't actually doing exactly that, is getting its text adjusted so that it will match what's happening in game. The Siren Anoint, after phase grasping an enemy, Amara fires terror skulls at the grasped enemy, dealing 3,718 damage. This is getting an increased damage bonus. That is really nice. I like this Anoint, but when it came out, it still wasn't that great for damage. This is getting increased damage bonus, and it does stack, which is really cool. The Beastmaster Anointment, after using attack command, consume all terror and flex pets gain 50% bonus fire damage for a short time, is getting an increased damage bonus. And lastly, the Gunner Anoint, after reloading, consume all terror and create a Nova that deals crowd damage, is also receiving increased damage bonus. Now note, these are not all of the Terror Anoints, not even close, but these are some that are receiving buffs, which is awesome. Next up, we have weapon buffs. Now, these get really awesome. First off, dull burst weapons, these are getting increased the burst fire rate of AR, SMG, and pistol weapons. However, this does not affect legendary weapons, so your non-legendary dull weapons are going to be getting an increased fire rate, which is nice just for like regular playthroughs. Next up, the Laser Sploder, one of the favorite weapons before Mayhem 4 came out at launch of game, is getting increased damage scaling and magazine size. Next up, the Conference Call is getting a buff. Conference Call got hit really hard by the extra projectile nerf and just wasn't worth using. Conference Call is seeing a change, and now the initial target will now be hit with the weapon's extra projectiles. I'm curious to how this plays out. Next up, the Maggie. The pistol that everyone loved is getting increased weapon damage, And this is the change I'm most excited for coming up right here. This is absolutely crazy. The Psycho Stabber is getting increased melee damage. Now, you may ask, how much melee damage? The Psycho Stabber, which was 120 stat melee damage, same as like COV pistols like the Lenoge, the Psycho Stabber is going from 120% melee damage to 340% melee damage. If you want to run a non-face puncher build, a non-face puncher melee build, the Psycho Stabber is now the must-have weapon. Up to 340% melee damage is crazy, and gonna be farming this weapon like crazy. Next up, the Masterwork Crossbow. Pretty unique weapon, is also getting increased weapon damage. This brings us to our Zane changes. Now, Zane has been in a weird spot since the launch of the game, getting the Seeing Dead kind of as a band-aid fix. Today, they are addressing a bunch of Zane's issues, including skill changes and buffs to class mods. They say that they still have more changes for Zane planned in the future, which is really, really exciting. And to start us off with our changes, we're talking about Cold Bore. Cold Bore is getting increased bonus damage. The skill only provides extra damage on the first bullet of a weapon swap. This bonus happens infrequently by nature, so we have massively buffed the damage with this change. We are interested to see new builds centered around small magazine size sniper rifles and more. Cold Bore is when you swap, you get next shot bonus cryo. That's getting a huge damage increase. I'm not actually sure what that damage increase is, but that's really, really cool. Very fun skill. Next up, Duct Tape Mod. The skill that when you fire from your gun, you have a chance to shoot a grenade, is getting decreased grenade cooldown by half, which is going to allow you to spam more grenades, which hopefully will make this skill more worthwhile. I wasn't never a huge fan of this skill. We found the value of this passive skill was limited by the cooldown between each grenade, so we've cut that in half. That's awesome. Next up, Like a Ghost. This is the bullet reflect or bullet chance to just not take bullet damage or pass through bullets. Like a Ghost, increased damage of base effect. That should be a typo that should be removed, but you are now going to get, I believe it's up to 45% chance to not get hit by bullets when this skill is active. If anything is needs more specifics, hopefully I'll have percentages and actual numbers on the screen, but I believe it is 45% Like a Ghost, so that you can actually run around and not get hit by a ton of things. Next up, Trick of the Light. Increased damage bonus. The damage from this skill depends on the number of enemies targeting Zane, and Zane's cloak can occasionally be unpredictable. To better account for this inconsistency, we buffed the damage bonus. Next up, Best Served Cold. The Cryo Nova skill. Increased damage from the Cryo Novas. That's awesome. And Frutility Belt increased the damage reduction to help encourage players to consider builds that remove elemental damage. We buffed the damage mitigation to be stronger here. That is also really nice. Next up, we have the class mod changes to Zane. Now, Zane has only had basically the Seeing Dead class mod. We are finally getting buffs to base game class mods for Zane, so hopefully there is more build diversity and reasons to use things besides the Seeing Dead. Starting us off, we have the Antifreeze. Antifreeze is getting increased movement speed while taking cryo damage. That's pretty cool. It's not going to be the biggest game changer for the Antifreeze, but that was something frustrating. But you are going to be getting increased movement speed. Increased movement speed leads to more damage with the Antifreeze, so that's good. Next up, big change here. The Conductor increased the damage bonus. Damage bonus for this class mod is dependent on the amount of action skill duration time you have left. Like Trick of the Light, this damage can feel inconsistent. We've increased the damage bonus to provide more reliable damage. So Conductor, that's going to give you that extra shock damage based on the duration of your action skills, is getting a big damage increase. Next up, the Executor is getting increased stat bonuses. Players suggested that the stat bonuses provided as a kill skill weren't strong enough to fill the value. We've buffed each significantly. The Executor, when you kill an enemy, you get a bunch of passive increases such as passive crit, passive accuracy, handling, status effect chance. All of those were buffed significantly, which is awesome. And next up, and lastly, we have a buff to the Techspurt. The Techspurt increase the chance of recharge to Sentinel's cooldown and active duration. The intent of this class mod is to provide a way to keep Zane's drone active nearly indefinitely, but at just 5% chance to refill the cooldown and duration. It wasn't consistent enough. We've increased the likelihood of this behavior occurring, so Techspurt will be another way to keep your clone or sorry, your Sentinel always active besides just seeing dead. That is awesome. And that is going to be it for our patch notes. Bloody Harvest is going live today. We have big changes to melee builds with the large change to the Psycho Stabber. Maggie's getting bonus damage. Ton of Terror Knights are changing. The Fearmonger is going to be amazing. The Gas Call is getting increased damage. Zane's new class mods have a ton of new potential, and his skills have new potential. There is a lot to play around with. I will be testing it all, and we'll have tons of videos for you guys on builds, synergies, and everything you guys need to know. If you guys enjoyed the video, and if you're looking forward to future ones, please hit that like button, comment, and hit that subscribe button. So close to 125K. I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.